AEW President and Founder Tony Khan appears on Impact Wrestling last night on AXS TV. What a show. What a show last night. I mentioned in the preview that we did yesterday when I spoke about Ken Shamrock mentioning Tony Khan by name on Twitter and the actual show preview that we did on the channel that it felt like something big was going to happen last night, and man was that accurate, because something did definitely big happen last night on Impact Wrestling. Don't worry, we've got everything covered. We've got the Tony Khan appearance covered, we've got the Matt Hardy, Jame Storm return to Impact covered, we've got the main event covered, we've got Taya Valkyrie covered, we've got it all covered today on the channel, so there's going to be lots of videos coming today, so be sure to check that out. Subscribe, bottom right hand corner. But Tony Khan made his first in-person appearance on Impact Wrestling last night, because Tony Khan's latest paid advertisement during Impact Wrestling on AXS TV saw the AEW President inside the Impact Zone for the first time in Skyway Studios in Nashville, Tennessee, on what had already been a hectic and crazy edition of Impact on AXS TV. The night it saw Matt Hardy and Private Party appear on Impact and stake their claim for Impact's Tag Team Championship. Tony Khan officially infiltrated and invaded the Impact Zone in Nashville, Tennessee. Now, this comes after weeks, of course, of paid advertisements alongside AEW commentator Tony Schiavone. Tony Khan broke the tradition this week, though, and he appeared alongside former TNA Wrestling X Division champion and current AEW producer Jerry Lynn, because Tony Khan then revealed that he was the one that sent Matt Hardy to Impact as retribution for everything that has occurred over the last couple of months with Don Callis and the Impact Tag Team Champions, the Good Brothers, invading Impact Wrestling, along with Kenny Omega, of course, going back and forth between both promotions. Tony Khan said that he chose Matt Hardy to invade Impact. While he's not a carny, there is no bigger carny in wrestling than Matt Hardy, and Matt Hardy is the only person who can out-carny Impact Wrestling. Therefore, that's why Matt Hardy appeared on Impact last night. But then Tony would close his weekly message by revealing that he was indeed, as you can see right there, inside the Impact Zone, and promised to appear during the main event, which saw Private Party defeat Jame Storm and Chris Sabin. Now also, so Tony Khan, in addition to that, as I mentioned, he was ringside, he was taking notes, as it were, last night at ringside on Impact on AXS TV. So he was taking notes in his little Star Trek notebook, and then the finish of the match saw Jerry Lynn, AEW producer, jump the guardrail, grab Chris Sabin's foot. This allowed Private Party to hit Gin and Juice, and now Private Party are the #1 contenders for the Impact Tag Team Championship. Wow, wow, wow. I mean, certainly, when I spoke about Tony Khan yesterday, I mentioned that there was a possibility. There was certainly a possibility that Tony Khan could appear in person tonight. He's become a regular character on Impact Wrestling. I know people might say, well, he said he was never going to become a character on TV for AEW, and he wasn't going to become a version of Mr. McMahon. He wasn't going to be this on-screen authority figure, and that's kind of the case for AEW, because he hasn't, frankly, but he's certainly a character for Impact Wrestling going forward. There's no doubt about it, and it's been something that I've been saying for weeks here. Go back and watch. We have done a video for every single Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone paid ad that they have done on Impact. We have broke them down, we've done analysis for them, and I've said every single time, this is a vignette, this is a promo. Tony Khan's becoming a character, he's cutting pro wrestling promos, and it felt natural that every single week it evolved, every single week it became bigger. The first week was very much the case of, it's a novelty, I'm Tony Khan, I'm the AEW president, I'm on Impact Wrestling Television, isn't that crazy? But every single week, the shots got more and more personal at Don Callis. The shots became more storyline focused and storyline driven. It was building to something. These were vignettes. And it paid off last night, where Tony Khan officially was inside the Impact Zone for the first time. I loved it. I loved the swerve. The way that they shot it was really well done as well. So you had Tony Schiavone appearing in the AEW Control Center. He's mentioned that it was a better production studio, production quality than Impact Wrestling, and he was there by himself. And then they throw over to Tony Khan, and you're thinking, well, maybe just Tony Khan's busy, you know, he's a busy man, he's standing there, and he's standing there with Jerry Lynn, and you go, oh, okay, looks great. They've got a black background, it looks like they're just, maybe they're busy, maybe they're in Jacksonville and they're doing something else. And then right at the end, they say, actually, let's go ringside. And you're watching it going, ringside, what's going on? And then they move, and then you see the picture you can see there with Jerry Lynn and Tony Khan appearing on the set of Impact, where they do their vignettes and their promos backstage, and you go, whoa, whoa, whoa. Massive crossover, because Tony Khan is there in person. And now at this point, it does feel like a rivalry. We have been speaking about this so much here on the channel that it always felt like there was something more. Yes, you've got the Kenny Omega crossover with AEW and Impact, but once you start factoring in Don Callis, once you start factoring in Tony Khan, and once you start pitting promotion versus promotion, it does feel like a rivalry now. It does feel like it's building to something because we're getting lots of crossovers now. We're not just getting Kenny Omega on Impact. We're not just getting the Good Brothers on Dynamite. Now we're getting Matt Hardy coming across. Now we're getting Private Party coming across. They're not part of this. They're not involved with Don Callis and Kenny Omega. They've got really nothing to do with it. So now it's getting serious because now you're getting more and more people crossing over. And I think tonight on Dynamite, I would expect we probably might see some other people from Impact. In addition to seeing Don Callis and the Good Brothers, Don Callis even said at the start of the show, I'm going on hiatus because I'm going to Jacksonville. Possibly he could bring some more people from Impact with him because that's what it feels like. Because right now, Tony Khan, he's a character. He's a character in Impact Wrestling. He is a full-blown pro wrestling character in Impact. He's not an on-screen authority figure, but he's a character at this point. He's cutting promos. He's sitting ringside. He's taunting and throwing shots at Don Callis and Impact Wrestling in general. He had money with him. He said, I'm going to pay for this week's ad and next week's ad. It's only going to cost me $100. He's taking shots at Impact. Him and Jerry Lynn got involved in the main event last night. They cost Chris Sabin and Jame Storm a shot at the Impact Tag Team Championships. This feels like a takeover. This feels like a hostile takeover, an invasion storyline, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I mentioned yesterday, as I mentioned before, that I felt that Tony Khan could be on Impact tonight in person because obviously Ken Shamrock was the smoking gun, as it were, right? Ken Shamrock put out that tweet yesterday and he said, nice to meet you, Tony Khan. Hopefully I'll meet you again or we'll speak again in the future. I'm paraphrasing there, but that's essentially what it was. So obviously we did the video on it. You sort of go, okay, when did Ken Shamrock meet Tony Khan? And the most logical explanation to that was, well, Hard to Kill was over the weekend. Kenny Omega was at Hard to Kill. He's the AEW World Champion. If he's there over the weekend at this Hard to Kill pay-per-view, there's a high chance that there's some AEW representation there as well. Therefore, that means that Tony Khan, the president, the founder, the CEO of AEW, was likely there in person in Nashville, Tennessee at Skyway Studios. So that's where the Ken Shamrock meeting took place. And it's the same with Matt Cardona. It's the same with Kenny Omega, although Omega did not appear last night, apart from replays from Saturday. It makes you think, okay, if they were there at the weekend, they're probably going to be there for the TV tapings. These tapings are going to cover the next 4, 5, 6 weeks of Impact Wrestling. Therefore, there is a high chance if Tony Khan is there in person on Saturday, he's going to be there in person on Tuesday, and that was absolutely the case. So we could see way more of Tony Khan, actually. I mean, people obviously, rightfully so, are buzzing about the appearance that he made last night. I think this is the first of many. We know that if you're there, and the TV tapings have already happened, by the way, they took place over the course of a couple of days. So if Tony Khan was there on Saturday and he was there at the taping for especially last night's episode, there is a very, very high chance we're going to see way more of Tony Khan over the next few weeks on Impact Wrestling on AXS TV. And I'm excited for it. I'm really excited for it. Again, I think he did an excellent job. I thought his promo was great. I thought his facials were great at ringside. He was kind of... And D'Lo Brown made a really good comment about it on commentary as well. He mentioned that Tony Khan, I don't want to say he came across as a heel, because I don't think he did. I think the heel, obviously, in this case is Don Callis, but this is still an outside guy invading Impact Wrestling. This is still a billionaire who owns AEW and their president, a rival company, a rival promotion. Matt Striker hyped up the midweek wars, as he called it. And he did come across a little bit heelish, not a total heel, but he came across as a bit arrogant, a bit aloof, like he wasn't taking it seriously, like he was pitying or patronising Impact, or I'll take notes at ringside and see what I can do, all that kind of stuff. I've got my money here, because that's all I need. It was really well done. It was really well done. And I really liked the line of him saying he was going to out-Carney Impact Wrestling, because that's the story here. That's the story. We've mentioned before that the way they've played this up is that Don Callis is the Carney. He's the old school wrestling Carney. He took advantage of Tony Khan. Tony Khan is the naive billionaire fan that loved pro wrestling so much that he founded his own company. He doesn't really know what he's doing. He's just a fan, and he was so naive that he invited Don Callis into AEW, and he screwed over Jon Moxley, allowed Kenny Omega to win the AEW World Championship, stole the AEW World title, stole Kenny Omega, and now they're flaunting it, trying to take over the entire wrestling business. They're appearing on Impact, they're appearing on AEW. They don't care who they insult because Don Callis is the invisible hand. He's moving all of these parts around, and now I've mentioned over the last few weeks that whenever Tony Khan has done these paid ads, it's always been a response. It's always been a way for Tony Khan to get his message across, his voice across, and the logic was there. Because if Tony Khan doesn't say anything, if Tony Khan doesn't get his voice across, then there's no logic. How and why? would a good businessman allow his world champion to be appearing on Impact every single week? So it always felt like a response. And Tony Khan now appearing inside of the Impact Zone felt like the next step. Again, it's a response. He is saying, look, you might think I'm this naive billionaire fan, and you might say, you know, this carny took advantage of me. I'm not a carny. But I hire a lot of carnies, and this latest Matt Hardy persona, Big Money Matt, right? He is a carny. He stole 50% of his tag team's match fees from them last night for just managing them in Impact Wrestling. So again, the logic there made a lot of sense. And he mentioned he was on a scouting mission there, and he was scouting, he was taking notes. I mean, there is an absolutely huge possibility that Chris Sabin or Jame Storm shows up tonight on AEW Dynamite. I mean, he said he was taking notes, so it's a possibility. And we know that he is at the very least going to be on another paid ad next week, because he said that he'd paid for this week's with the $100 and he was paying for next week as well. So we know Tony Khan is going to be on Impact. We don't know if he's going to be inside the Impact Zone again. You know what? I would think he would be. Is he going to appear inside the arena again? Is he going to be cutting promos in the middle of the ring with a microphone? You know, I don't know. But it does feel like a bit of justification, I think, here, because we've been saying for a while, Tony Khan's character. He may not be a character on AEW TV. He may not feel comfortable going back on his word, saying that he was not going to be a character for All Elite Wrestling. But Impact, I mean, it's a different universe. Like with every crossover, the rules are slightly different in Impact for Tony Khan. He doesn't have much of a say there, right? It's not his company. So he can be a character there. And frankly, it looks like he's enjoying himself. We mentioned in the storyline that he's this naive fan. At the end of the day, he is a fan. And it looks like he's having the time of his life. Who wouldn't want to appear on another promotion? I'm sure he watched Impact over the years in the same way that he appeared in the crowd at ECW way back when. I'm sure he followed Impact as well, back in its glory days, in its early days. I'm sure he watched that. So he's obviously now a character. There's obviously this rivalry going with Don Callis. As Don Callis leaves and goes on hiatus and he goes to Jacksonville to stir things up, Tony Khan's one-up Don Callis. While Don Callis isn't there, he slipped in the back door. Don Callis has left for Jacksonville, and then Tony Khan's infiltrated Impact while he's away in Nashville. I mean, strategically, it's brilliant. So I think very likely at this point we're going to see Tony Khan in person for Impact for the next 4, 5, or 6 weeks, maybe even longer. Maybe this is a thing going forward. He was there for the whole tapings, and frankly, as I mentioned, with him being a character, I think he's really good at it. I do think he's really good at it. I've mentioned before, every time we've talked about Tony Khan, these promos, these vignettes that he's been doing for Impact, I've mentioned I think he's really good. I think he's a good promo. And I think that comes from him being a fan for so many years. I think that comes from his passion for the pro wrestling business. And obviously, he's an excellent public speaker. You don't get to the level in business that he has. He is a billionaire. Of course, I know his father was a billionaire before him, but nevertheless, you don't become the CEO, founder of AEW, the sporting director of Fulham, you know, get involved with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's got analytics companies that supply analytics to the NFL. He's got a variety of other investments around the United States and the world. You don't get to that level without being an excellent and clear speaker, a clear communicator, and a good public speaker. And I think Tony Khan is showing that by becoming this character in Impact Wrestling. You start to question, I mean, is there anything he can't do? I mean, it's always annoying to an extent that he's got all of these businesses, all of these ventures that are successful, and now he's becoming a character on a pro wrestling show. I mean, what a life this guy is having. It's incredible. So I think he's really good at it. I do think he's really good at it. I thought he did a great promo. And last night, I mean, as I mentioned, we're going to be covering everything that happened last night, whether it's Matt Hardy, Private Party, Jame Storm, Taya Valkyrie. There is so much to get into. So keep an eye out for all the videos that are going to be dropping today. But it really felt like a big deal last night. Last night's episode of Impact Wrestling, I mentioned it before, that Hard to Kill felt like something different. Hard to Kill felt like, I don't want to say a reset, but it felt like Impact saying, right, this is our new product. This is we're stepping up now. We're replacing the commentary team. We're getting some enhanced crowd noise. The production levels are going higher. We've got Matt Cardona coming in. We've got new wrestlers coming in. We've got this AEW and Impact crossover. We're stepping up to the plate. We're trying to get bigger and better. Last night felt like a really big deal. It was surreal. It was surreal to see, I mean, that picture alone, seeing Tony Khan inside the Impact Zone and then seeing him at ringside taking notes while an Impact Wrestling main event on AXS TV is ongoing with Matt Hardy back in Impact and Private Party and AEW tag team in the ring competing against Chris Sabin and Jame Storm, TNA originals from back in the day. I mean, it's surreal. It's certainly something I don't think anyone expected to see. It was crazy to see. And for Impact, what a fantastic advert. I mean, if you didn't watch Impact last night, I'm pretty sure you're probably going to watch it. You'd have caught the replay somehow, or you're going to watch it live next week, because now you're thinking you never know what you're going to get. And with all of those names present at the TV tapings over the last couple of days, and for the TV tapings that we're going to get for the next couple of weeks for what they shot, you never know what you're going to get. And this is only the beginning. And I go back to it again. I don't want to bury Wrestling Inc. and I don't want to, bury Nick Houseman or dump on him or anything like that. But I go back to that original report. You remember when the Winter is Coming edition of Dynamite happened? Kenny Omega wins the AEW World Championship. Don Callis says, find out what happens. Impact Wrestling on AXS TV on Tuesday. Everyone goes crazy. Everyone's like, oh, is this an AEW and Impact crossover? What is going on? People are excited. People start saying, oh, what could happen? This could happen. The Young Bucks, they could come over. Kenny Omega, is he going to compete inside of an Impact Wrestling ring? Everyone is so excited about it. And then you get that report from Wrestling Inc. when they say, well, it's not going to be that intertwined. It's just going to be a one-off. It's just a favor. Kenny Omega's going to appear on Tuesday on Impact. That's just going to be it. It's a favor to Don Callis. Don Callis is a good friend of Kenny Omega. It's just a favor back from AEW as a thank you for Don Callis appearing the next couple of weeks. That's not going to happen, so don't worry about it. It's not going to be anything like that. It's not going to be that intertwined. Well, Kenny Omega just competed in a main event at Hard to Kill. He's appeared on Impact basically ever since Winter is Coming in December. Last night we had Matt Hardy return to Impact. We have Private Party and AEW Tag Team. They're now the #1 contenders for the Impact Tag Team Championship. Every single week since Winter is Coming as well, we've had the AEW President and AEW commentator Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone appear on the show. Last night we had Tony Khan in person, the AEW President and CEO, appear inside the Impact Zone. We had AEW producer as well, Jerry Lynn, get involved in the finish. I mean, not that intertwined. Are you kidding me? This working relationship has exploded, and as I've said time and time and time again, I think it's only the beginning. This is the tip of the iceberg. Get ready for more, because I think more is coming. I think way more is coming. I think the fact that now you've got Tony Khan appearing in person, you've got AEW staff costing Impact Wrestling stars matches, you've got Matt Hardy appearing there, you've got Private Party and AEW Tag Team as the #1 contenders for the Impact Tag Team Championship. You've got Kenny Omega going back and forth. You've also got the Good Brothers, the Impact Tag Team Champions, also appearing on Dynamite. You've got the Impact Wrestling Executive Vice President, Don Callis, appearing on both shows as well. This is only the beginning. It's obviously only the beginning. Does it lead to a TV special where it's Impact versus AEW? Does it lead to a pay-per-view, an invasion pay-per-view like with WWE back in the day where it's Impact versus AEW? I don't know. What I do think, though, is that it's only the beginning, and it does feel like this is just the beginning of what is going to be something that is going to be really spoken about. I mean, social media is buzzing. Social media is buzzing, and I know I am. I'm very excited and fascinated to see what's going to happen tonight for AEW, but what's going to happen once again for Impact next week. So it's very, very exciting. But of course, as always, this is just one man's opinion. What are your thoughts on Tony Khan, AEW President, appearing in person inside the Impact Zone, live on Impact Wrestling last night on AXS TV? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I'll do my best to respond and reply to all of your comments. Really enjoy interacting with you guys, talking about Impact Wrestling, AEW, WWE, all things pro wrestling here on the channel. So be sure to get involved in the community. Drop a comment below. All opinions are welcome. If you have enjoyed this video too, please do smash a like on the like button as well. It really does help us out here on YouTube. Get up the rankings and get into people's recommendation feeds if they haven't seen our videos previously. But most importantly, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to Wrestle News 365. You can do that by clicking the bottom right hand corner of the screen right now, or if you wait a few seconds, there'll be a subscribe button at the end of this video along with another video for you to watch. Thank you very much for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.